I was just looking to kind of see how long ago it was since we last got together to be able to do this. And it was like either the 8th or the 15th of December. So it's been a month since we've gotten together to be able to talk about these. So we are going to have to go on a major push again to be able to get everybody involved. So let's see, Jason, I know, Adriana, I know, Connor, I think this might be one of your first ones with us. Is that right?
Yes, this is my very first one.
All right. And Lydia, I think you've been on with us before. Oh, we just missed her. Jason's been with us before. So here's the mission of this get together. It is not about me as director of agent performance. It's not about Jeff as a mentor. It's not about Bob as our technology director or Heather as a manager or anybody else that joins us. This is about you, those that are working on growing their business. And so with that, it's you guys share, the first part being all the good stuff that's happened since we've got together last, right? And then it's help each other. So this is a group participation thing. There is nothing in front of me other than that basic agenda that we start with the good news. Then we go with, what do you need help with? And then we all jump in and offer that support. So Lydia, good to see you again. I know you've had some stuff happen since we got together last, right? So why don't you start us out? What's the good news?
So I had a commercial listing, or I have a commercial listing. It came in on a floor call. So I got that back middle of December, I think. And I'm working with Peggy Feltner on it, so that have the best of both worlds with it. And so potentially have an offer on it. I'm waiting to hear back.
Ooh. Excellent. Awesome. Awesome. So for those who don't know, Peggy Feltner, I don't think she's got an official title yet, but she leads up our commercial department and does a wonderful job. So when you get an opportunity, Peggy works out of our Oxford location, or I should say Orion location now. So good. Anything else that's happened for you since then? I'm
working with 2 buyer clients at the moment.
Awesome. Awesome. I like that. Good news. Who else has got the good news they can share?
I can, since I know my turn's coming.
Yeah, don't make me call on you.
Right. So right now I have 3 active listings, which are kind of spread out all over Port Huron, Jackson, and Lapeer. So
yeah,
a little bit of work.
Know, Jason, which office are you out of?
Yeah, I need gas money because I need one of these 3 to sell. No, but I got an offer in today on the problem child that I mentioned in the last meeting, I believe, on division in Port Huron. Got an offer. I'm not sure if she's going to accept it though, because it is below, even though it is cash. So I started my farm down in Rochester with a neighborhood I know down there, and so mailed postcards and stuff there, and getting ready to do some door knocking. Let's see what else. That's about all the good stuff.
Okay. All right. And so guys, I think there's a key with what Jason just shared. Right now he's going wherever he needs to. right? And he's going to areas that he's familiar with, even though it's quite a ways away, because Jason, you're Port Huron, right? Hey, Jason, you're Port Huron, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so think about Port Huron down to Rochester. It doesn't matter. We've got the MLS that's going to cover us, right? And then how many locations?
3.
No, how many locations? do you
Oh,
have
okay.
to work with?
I was referred to my listings, 17,
Yeah.
isn't it? 17 or 19?
Yeah, 17 locations, 18 offices total. So you probably say 18 offices. The only reason 17 locations because Sagamore and Town and Country are located in the same facility in Rochester. So 18 offices total, right? So I think there's a key. He's doing what he needs to be able to get this up and running. And probably if we were tracking, if I were coaching you one-on-one, one of the things I would be asking is, how many people did you talk to in the past week? How many people did you talk to in the past 2 weeks? I'll pull Sarah in here real quick because Sarah and I work a lot closer together. But Sarah, if you take yourself off mute, what's the primary thing that we're really worried about? What's the primary thing we want to track and get?
The primary thing that we want to track and get is the amount of people that we're actually talking to, and then how many appointments we're actually getting, how many people we're actually getting in front of.
That's it. That's it. You see, it almost doesn't matter how many people you talk to as long as you get the appointments,
Mhm.
right? And yet the appointments don't matter if we get the number of contracts signed that we need to get. But if I didn't get the contracts, then I need more appointments. If I didn't get the number of appointments, I need to make more contacts. If I didn't get the number of contacts, I gotta get the more attempts. So it really comes down, guys, that it's really gets simple. How many do you need to get, and are you getting there? And if you're not, what do you do to get there? Okay, so that's kind of a quick synopsis, and we're keeping it all simple. What do I need to do to get in front of people to get the contract signed that I need to get so I get the closings I need to close? All right. Prasanna, welcome. It's really good to be able to see you on here. So if you're a rookie, just know that we got Prasanna and she's a big producer. Hey, Prasanna, how many deals did you do last year?
About 15.
About 15 deals. How
Yeah.
many millions was that?
Just over 4 million.
Okay, so guys, I just, here's Prasanna, who's been in the business for a while, but she's joining us because she's always looking for things that she can do to be able to improve. So welcome aboard. So, all right, guys, Jason, you kind of created a long stretch with the information there, but you gave great information that needed to be shared. Who else? The good news. What's happened? Really, guys, we're talking the last 4 weeks. What's the good news? Anything good news? Anything. I can wait. Oh, okay. So, Adriana, I know you've been working, right? So buyers, sellers, what's come up for you in the last 4 weeks?
Yeah, a lot's been going on the last 4 weeks. Well, this past weekend I had 8 showings, one of them yours. So woo woo. I picked up a potential new buyer, working through some of the logistics to see if he's ready to move forward. I've got a potential seller who's very adamant about what he wants and trying to figure out how we can negotiate to get it listed. So the last agent he worked with, he gave him 45 days to bring him a buyer, and then he cut his losses. So we're working through that to see if we can get him to list. And then let's see, I've started working on my continuing education for this year, got a few hours done on that, my EIN and LLC. So I've been working on that. I created my 2023 business journal that we talked about last week. So that's already done. And I've already started putting a ton of stuff in it. So there's that. And I've scripted a couple of videos and recorded them. And I'm just getting ready to start posting some more.
Big time. So lots of the passive activities on top of it, but we need those. Okay, because you're being actively passive. We need both. And hey, Connor, let me jump over to you real quick. Because you're the first time with us, why don't you share a little bit about where you're at, which office, how long you've been with us?
Absolutely. So I'm in the Midland office. I was with Coldwell Banker Professionals around this time last year. However, I put my license in holding until a week ago, roughly. But now I'm back, and I literally just finished signing all the papers that I need to sign with the Saginaw Board of Realtors and Coldwell Banker Professionals and all that. But that's where I'm at right now. And I guess in the light of good news, I had just signed all my papers, and literally yesterday I sent out my introductory letters, and I already have a potential buyer who is pre-approved. So I guess that's something.
I like it. That's definitely something. Matter of fact, the one of the best parts is I hear that you sent out your introductory letters.
Yes.
So Lisa, kudos. Lisa is Connor's manager. And that's one of the first things that we have set up in Speedboard is the aspect of getting those letters out. So that's huge. And you just gave the reason why that is one of the first things that we do. Because that's the most likely place you're going to get your first contract signed with. Be it a buyer or a seller, it's your sphere of influence. It's going to do that with you. And of course, now here's the big key, 10% a day for 10 days. So that within 2 weeks, you've talked to everybody in your sphere of influence at that point. So that's a big, big key. Talk to the people that you know, and don't make it overly complicated. Keep it simple. Just have a great conversation with them. That's going to be the biggie. Okay. Let's see. All right. So with that, then let's do this. Let's take the next mode of I need help with ... Who's going to start us out?
So I am going door knocking this weekend, just in the town that I grew up in and everything. So if anyone has any tips or anything on what I should put on my flyer or what I should say or where or literally anything.
Anyone? She hears from me too much.
One of the
Go
things
ahead,
that
Jason.
one of the things that we were gonna do when we go to the neighborhood that I'm farming is printing off the neighborhood reports from RPR. It has a lot of good information if you're going into a neighborhood where more people that are interested in numbers and stats, and you know, if they're wondering anything, you got it right there, and maybe a couple extra copies to give people that look like they're it's a good prospect.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Bob, how about from your side of things? Anything that you would suggest for Sarah?
Well, actually, my first thought was to enroll yourself in Moxie Engage and send yourself a neighborhood news that would give you 3 pages of housing data that is relevant by zip code level. And the nice thing about it is here's an example of the marketing data that I collect each and every day, that if you would be so inclined that I could share with you, if you would share your email with me.
I gotta tell you
First
guys,
one.
what Bob just brought up, I think is a huge part in a number of ways. So Jason, you mentioned the aspect of starting a farm. Neighborhood news for everybody that you can get an email address for. And I would suggest going to your title company and seeing if they can do a search for you for emails for that neighborhood. That will allow you to then set up the neighborhood news. And fabulous information. It's the stuff that people want to see. Matter of fact, Bob, you kind of left it a little bit short, but sell that a little bit more, like on the open rates that you're experiencing.
Actually, for everyone that I talk to that uses neighborhood news, I've seen everything from 51% in the down to get this now, down to 16% open rate. So if you find the happy medium between 50% and 16%, and you take all the agents that are actually engaged with using neighborhood news, you're looking at a third of the people that you send your emails out to that are actually opening it. Myself, I've been doing it for over 10 months, and I actually started it with absentee owners because as the market was changing in 2022, I identified them as a potential, you know what, the market's still good, sell today, and then reinvest. And you could get 2 properties for the price of 1 because of the equity you built in 2021. And so 10 months into it, I've only had 3 people unsubscribe. Broke my heart. 3 people. All right. But to this day, and I was just telling Darwin and Alex this just last week, because I put them out in batches of 50. But I had 41 opens last week alone. And that is consistent week after week after week of opens. And what's really encouraging for me is also not are they only opening it, but a third of them are actually clicking on it to get additional information. And since I get that information in Moxie Engage, that gives me an excuse and an opportunity to reach out and say, hey, I noticed that my neighborhood news went out to you the other day. And I was just curious, do you have any questions? I already know that they looked at it. They just don't know that I know that I know. See what I'm saying?
Me likey. And think about it. Bob's using it for absentee owners, which, by the way, those are individuals who own a second home they don't live in. Okay. So he's just going, hey, here's, just so you know, here's what's going on around that house that you have. Giving them an idea as to what the value of that house is, so that maybe that might get them thinking about selling it, and then the hope that they would call him. Okay. Do you see any other places you might use neighborhood news outside of a farm or the absentee owner?
Well, again, since I'm dealing with mentees, former clients probably won't work up real well. But see, actually, when I answered the question, I was thinking of the door knocking.
Yeah.
I don't want to take away from what RPR has to offer, but when you could produce something that is truly branded to you alone, and doesn't have all the other fluff, because even RPR has a title company and other things on the last page that aren't about you. Well, I want it to be all about me, because what makes me different. And so I want that personalized touch of the neighborhood news. And again, it's a catchphrase. If, let's say you knock on the door and nobody answers, well, if your business card's attached to the neighborhood news and you left it behind, what the heck? Some people don't like to answer the door. Like me, I'm kind of slow and you might actually give up before I get to the door. I'm just saying, you know, but then you go back. This is when you're farming, folks, and you're knocking on doors, it's not a one and done. Okay, it's like anything else. You realize that if you actually knock on a door, nobody answers, you leave information, you got to go back. If you knock on the door and somebody answers, you got to go back. You know why? Because if they say, no, I'm not interested. Well, you know, that's really great. But do you know of anybody in the area? Because I heard there's somebody that's interested in selling and I really want to help them get their house sold.
Yeah, so Jason, for you, this farm that you started, what are we really trying to do? Build relationships. It's to build a relationship. We don't build a relationship by just sending them stuff. We build relationships by being seen in the neighborhood, by talking to the people in the neighborhood, by driving through the neighborhood. But you know, to keep going beyond that with where, you know, Bob and I have been at with this, follow-ups. So I just happened to take a floor call, couldn't get an appointment. Am I just going to drop them? No, they should go in a lead follow-up system. They should be getting something dripping on them. And then on top of it, here's neighborhood news that you could put them or subscribe them to. How about a for sale by owner? Would a for sale by owner like that kind of information that comes up? How about an expired that thought that, no, crap, my house just isn't worth it, or nobody wants my house? Might they, if they get that information and value increases to what they would want, and they've been receiving this from you on a regular interval, isn't there potential that they may call you? See, guys, we can't be focused only on those people that are going to do something within the next 30 days. That's what we all want. But what we have to understand is our daily activities are about finding leads that we can then work, follow up, and build. That's the reason that guys like a Kyle Matta can do 22 million. Or Phil Cini with his daughter do approximately the same. It's because they're constantly being seen, but there's been this build up to where they're doing what they're doing. People don't start out at 12 million in their first year. They don't start out at 9 million. They might do 4 or 5 million in their first year and do 9 or 10 the second. They may do 2 million in their first, but they do 4 or 5 in their second. Okay. The reason being is because of all the activities that they're doing in building this clientele and building the reputation. So again, we're building this business base and we're building these leads that we can then follow up on that will then turn into business 6, 12, 18 months from now. What we've got to be able to do is talk to enough people so that we get business now, so that, Jason, as you said, I can put gas in my tank and yet allow us to then make loads of money in the near future. But I throw out, many of you know of Janelle out of the Port Huron office. Janelle did about 4.5 her first year in the business. By the way, working like 9 or 10 months full-time in another job. And I throw this out so that, guys, we eliminate our excuses. Okay, we just got to go. It's not acceptable to be at my, if you will, wherever you're at, a lower level to where you're not happy with your income. There's things that you can do. And I believe that Janelle fell just short of 10 million, or she's right around that mark this year, if I remember correctly. Aaron Martin. So Connor, I think you've probably been introduced to Aaron out of the Midland office. Aaron did about 4.5 million in her first year in an area that she just moved to and knew nobody. Right, Connor, have you met her?
Yes, she's my mentor, actually.
Oh, that sucks. What did you notice anything special about her?
She was I've only shadowed her on one showing that we went to. So I haven't had actually too much time to be around her. But
Yeah,
she
it's only been
is
a couple days after all.
only been a couple days, yes.
So here's the thing. There's nothing special about Erin. It's what she's done that's made her special. And Erin talks to everybody. Everybody. I mean, that's one thing I understand about Erin. She's just talked to everybody and she's worked her tail off. Okay. That's just something that we got to know and understand, that's the key. And if you go, well, I don't know anybody, Aaron Martin moved to Midland knowing absolutely nobody. And she still did about 4.5 million in this past year. Okay. So that's really the big key. Just don't accept failure as an option. And all we have to do is talk to a lot of people and follow up on the leads that we establish so that they will come and actually produce for us later. Bob, what you got?
When you were talking, it also remind me, and it's all about preparation. If you're going to go door knocking, and again, kudos to you because nobody else is doing it this time of year, period. Okay. But kudos to you, but preparedness, and preparedness is, what is your goal? Are you looking to talk to 10 people? Are you looking to talk to 5 people? Are you looking to look like, you got a cardboard sign, willing to work for food? So it's all about preparation. And part of that preparation is you need to know, while you have that neighborhood news report, go to your MLS and scope out the area for the last 3 years and know what's sold in that area. Why? Because the more you know about the market for the area that you're farming, the more intelligent you can speak to it. And why do I say 3 years? Because I guarantee you, they know it. They don't know anything else. They know who bought and sold. So you're looking for who sold and who expired. Those are the only 2 things you need to find out about. So establish a goal, know the market for where you're walking, so that when you get that opportunity, you're armed and you're ready, because that'll give you the confidence to say what you need to say, and you won't have to worry about it, because you're asking questions, it is going to lead to you being able to share stats that nobody else is doing, and nor are they doing it this time of year.
And you've established yourself as a professional at that point.
It's not about how young you are. Man, you know a lot. You must have been doing this for a while. Yeah, about a minute.
All right. Well, let's take a look. Hopefully that answered, Sarah, a good part of your question. If I went a little bit further, I would throw out this. Dress warm, be business casual. Don't show up with 2 of you. If you do, and I'm not critiquing anyone here, but nobody likes to answer the door when they see 2 people because they think Jehovah's Witnesses. They just won't open the door as much. You're better off being with 1 or with 5 of you than you are with 2 of you. When you do it, knock on the door, maybe ring the doorbell, step back and give them this. You want a profile. You don't want, well, here, I can simulate. Anybody get an idea what we're doing here? Say it. Nobody wants somebody staring in their house trying to figure out whether or not they're coming to the door. Of course, here's the other. Don't turn your back to them. Same thing. Point of intimidation, you're hiding something. Don't have a whole lot of stuff in your hands. Be able to have open hands. Again, same thing. There's just a sense of security. Probably a name badge doesn't hurt. Wearing the logo predominantly would not hurt. But knock, couple steps back, profile, let them answer the door, and then turn. Don't try to hand them anything now, because you'll be standing here like this. Because they won't open the door and they won't take your stuff. So don't hand them anything until they're ready to accept whatever you may have. Okay. Follow the process. And if you're going, well, wait a minute, what's the process? I would turn back to what we've given you in the past, because it's in everything. But the simple part is it starts with an introduction. Keep it simple. Hi, my name's Darwin. I'm a local realtor. 2, the reason. The reason I stopped by today is because. Keep it simple. Why are you there? People go, well, what are the reasons I could go? Well, how about the truth? That sounds kind of screwy, but Jason, you could literally go out there and say, look, I need money to put gas in my tank. So I'm trying to find somebody who needs to buy or sell. And do that with a smile on your face. Look, if it feels good and it's in your personality, do it. I have often said as simple as this. I mean, Bob gave great information, and yet let me go to 100% to the other direction. Go to a neighborhood, pull in, get out of your car, and go knock on the doors, knowing absolutely nothing about it. And then you say, hi, my name's Darwin, I'm with. The reason I stopped by is because I know there's a home that's coming on the market today or on the market, and I'm out here today to be able to find it. Is it you? Which one of your neighbors is it? Now, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Never, ever have I had a door slammed in my face. And I have knocked on a lot of doors, including for sale by owners and expireds. Never had a door slammed in my face. Now, it's been a while, but I enjoyed that a whole heck of a lot more than I did using the telephone. And I'll tell you, the most fun I had is when I went out with a group of people. And I mean, I had one time 12 people standing behind me. Knock on the door. Hi, my name's Darwin. I'm just curious, when's the last time you had 13 real estate agents knocking on your door? And they laugh, give me never. And then I say, well, listen, the whole reason we're out here, we know there's a home coming on the market. We're trying to find it. Is it you? Nope, it's not us. Which one of your neighbors is it? You'd be shocked at how often people can step out the door and tell you that that person right there, this is happening. That person right there, this is going on. Bottom line, go talk to people. That's the easy part. Okay.
Can I add one real quick one?
Business casual, by the way, would be, I think, the other part that I would give you on that, Sarah. And I think I addressed any of those questions you threw out, but Bob, go ahead.
Hey, you know, we're having a contest at the office. You see that guy across the street? I bet that I can get more people's first names than he can. Will you help me out?
The possibilities are endless is the point.
I'll tell you about
We
taking
just
the
gotta
dog
talk to
later.
people. What's that?
I said, I'll talk to him. I'll let him know about taking your dog along later, about that lost dog.
I had this in one class. John Tens and I did a class. John's still doing it. It's his course called Flying Tigers. It was a space program, still is. But bottom line, we'd send people out. And this gal says to us, well, it was go talk to 10 people. That was the simple assignment. And she came up and said afterwards, she says, but do you know I have 7 kids? Do you know how much I've got doing somewhere in between here? You want me to go talk to 10 people? And we didn't let her off the hook, but we coached her. We said, well, we knew because that was your introduction. Yeah, that's a key part. But of course, you still have to talk to a lot of people, right? Yeah. Well, where could you go and talk to 10 people in the least amount of time? Think about that and go there. Now, this was probably 15 years ago. She went to Kroger. And she said the next week, as she reported back, Kroger over on is mine. Nobody else can go there. And the reason being, it was either 2 or 3 people out of 10 that she talked to who said, well, actually, yeah, we were thinking about it. And she was shocked by that. Now, that's a pretty good turnaround by talking to just 10 people in front of Kroger. But the bottom line is, what did she say that got her that result? You want to know what it was? Hi, my name is, we'll use Lydia this time. Hi, my name is Lydia. I'm a realtor and I'm in this class and there's these 2 big guys that are making me do this. So I got to ask, if you don't mind, have you had any thought of buying or selling real estate anytime in the near future? That was it. And she blamed it on the 2 big guys because John's about 2 inches taller and about 50 pounds heavier than I am. Don't overcomplicate what we need to do. Our job is really simple. Talk to a lot of people and identify whether or not they're a prospect and who they know that's a prospect. That's it. It's really, really simple. But we do, there's little things that the voice inside our head holds us back from being able to talk to a whole lot of people. Sarah, great question. Did we give you enough to be able to work with on that one?
Yes, thank you all so much.
Awesome, awesome.
Okay, I gotta take it one step farther, Darwin.
Yeah, go ahead, bud.
Hey, I'm out here today and I'm looking for a seller in this neighborhood. This is Facebook Live and here I am, come to you. Because why wouldn't you share that on your social media? Golly gee, the opportunity afford right there.
Man, the simplicity, it's another thing that, what is it? The 2nd Tuesday of February, we're going to have Bob, Alex, myself, and 1 or 2 other individuals are going to show you or work with you regarding social media. And one of the simplest things, and Bob beats this to death, guys, don't forget Facebook Live. Pick up your phone, open Facebook. I mean, it's not any more difficult than pretty much pick up your phone, open Facebook, do live, say yes, and then start talking. And just tell people what you're doing. So if you're out in the neighborhood, it's, hey guys, I'm out in Lake Oakland Woods today. I'm talking with a whole lot of people. I'm trying to find a home that I know is coming on the market. But listen, guys, I'm not just tied to Lake Oakland Woods. If you know of somebody who needs to buy or sell a house, do me a favor. Would you call me? I could be reached at 248-961-6090. Have a good one, everybody. Boom. Video done, social media done, and how many contacts did you just make? Now, it's not the contact that we're looking for when we start tracking, but it could be part of your business plan that you have in place. So I'm gonna want to go there next if nobody else has anything, but Kenyatta, I can see you got your hand up. What's going on? Maybe
Can
she
you
had
hear
it
me?
up for a while. There you
Can you hear
are.
me?
We
Oh,
got you.
I'm not sure if this was said or anything, but I wanted to ask about the door knocking because I'm actually going to do that also in my subdivision. I have a
Great.
qualified buyer that really wants where I live at. And so I walk my puppy pretty much every day. And I was wondering if it's okay to take her with me because she's definitely a attention getter and people always petting her when we're walking. So I don't know if you said that, but I think that'll be
I
okay.
would say yes, for the reason that you just stated.
Okay.
Now, you said puppy, so I'm assuming it's a smaller dog.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that you're good there. And maybe even if you got a bigger dog, because I think there's going to be more people who like dogs than those who don't. But I would
Yes.
mix it up. I would mix it up. I'd go out with and I'd go out without. I think it just shows you're human. And it might be something that gives you that connection that they may have. Now, drawbacks to it, again, there's going to be people that aren't comfortable around dogs. They may not open a door because you're there with a dog. What else could I think? Oh, somebody says, well, yeah, we were thinking about it. Like, you might take a quick preview of the home, but it might be difficult with because now you got the dog. But outside of that, those are the only couple of drawbacks that I can think to it.
And then this is like a concern. I don't think it's a big concern. Like
Right.
the people in my neighborhood, they know me. Well, I'm sure they've seen me because I walk every single day and I'm not always in real estate appropriate. So of course I'm going to change my look up. But
Yeah,
I'm
if you're
like,
actually
okay, do I
knocking on
because
doors,
yeah,
Yeah.
because now that if I start knocking on doors, I'm gonna feel like when I go out just for a walk with my dog, I have to look and present because they're gonna know the dog before they know me.
yeah. Yeah,
Because
the
she's so
key
cute.
is again, be seen out in the marketplace. You might even want to review earlier in the summer. I had a Hot Topic Tuesday and I featured Kyle Matta and Phil Cini. Phil is one of the best in regards to marketing and farming. So listen to that one and see what that can come up with. And I've got another gentleman that's here in my Rochester location, Don Robinson, has always had great success with farming. And it's because he's truly farming. He's not mailing to a targeted geographic market. He's actually farming it. And that's, again, it goes back to that point of building relationships, which means I've got to go see people. I got to talk to people. And that's a key. Walk your neighborhood. Make sure that you got career apparel on so that people know that you do real estate. Email when you can. And again, check with your title companies. Most of them have tools to be able to search areas to get email addresses for residences. Mail them. Absolutely. And then the biggest key to farming is being seen and actually talking to the people, building a relationship. So that's a key. That's a key. All right, we got about 15 minutes left. I want to hit one key part that I know is probably, well, here, most of us need this if we haven't already set it up. So Connor, you probably have been given the latest version of Speedboard. Guys, if you haven't completed Speedboard, which you should have, let me lovingly slap your hand. Connor, you're excused. Everybody else, I know they've been around for a while. Look, 2 weeks of that is getting everything set up. It's an orientation. The rest of it is education and application. Okay. The latest version, I've recorded some simple educational videos. So Connor, make sure that you've got that most recent version. And just do what it says. Don't read into anything. Don't expand on it. If it says, go here, do this, then you go there, you do that. Don't try to expand or change what it says to do. One of the first things that it says is go to either 21 Online or My CB Desk, go to the goal projector and complete it. Now, first one would be do your dream sheets. 50 is a minimum that you come up with. I know Sarah and I were talking, and in 1 week, she's almost got 100 dreams completed. Okay. 50 is a minimum, because until we know what it is that we want and why we're doing this crappy stuff that we got to do, right? Until we have that, what's going to make you get out of bed in the morning, go to the office, and start talking to a whole lot of people? Going to make you call for sale by owners, going to make you call expireds, going to make you talk to your sphere of influence, going to make you talk to a whole lot of people. What's going to make you talk to people until you set an appointment? Need the dream sheet. But the key to the goal projector is, dream sheet should tell me how much money I need to be able to survive, to pay my bills, so I can put it into the goal projector with a few other assumptions that will now tell me, well, for you to make that kind of money, you got to close X amount of deals. Close X amount of deals, you got to go on X amount of appointments. If you're going to work X amount of weeks, then here's how many calls you got to make every week. It even breaks it down to, here's the amount of time that you need to block in your calendar. In your calendar. Here's how many minutes you need to spend to be able to talk to X amount of people. And depending upon who you're attempting to talk to, could be less, could be more. The more people in your sphere of influence, I can tell you this, the less you got to talk to a whole lot of other people. And as you grow that in the future, it becomes less and less. Do the goal projector. It is the minimum of your business plan. It's the minimum. Okay. But here's the other part. Bob is an endless resource to the things that we need to do, should do in our part of being actively passive. He can give you all kinds of things that you should do. And this then completes your business plan, or if you will, your job description. Okay. Right now, Sarah and I have been working together, and I've given her a really simple one. For those who don't know, Sarah is our ISA and working her way out of that into the business on a full-time basis for herself. But she asked a really great question to me last week. She says, Darwin, what's the expectation of me? Because you see, Sarah's kind of a hybrid employee. I said, well, it's really simple. Right now, we need to focus on you just setting 2 appointments per week. That's her job. Now, for you, how many do you need to set per week? And how will you do that? So that's where your job description comes in at. Your job is to make X amount of money. Your job is to close X amount of deals. Your job is to then work X amount of weeks, setting X amount of appointments, making sure that you spend X amount of time making these contacts. You're going to do at least 1 video per week. you're going to, and bottom line is, you put all of this together so that you know what you're supposed to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and what you're supposed to do for the year. All of us have held a real job. I always put a real job where it was do these things on an acceptable level and we'll pay you X amount. And what happens if we don't do those things? Everybody just salute saying, see ya, right? Because we would not be able to hold that job. Well, guys, you are your boss. You're the only one that can terminate you from real estate. So you're either going to do it or you're not. It's an odd thing in real estate, but you're either going to do the things that are necessary or you're not. And if you think it's kind of crazy, here was the task that I got back in 1989 from a gentleman called Floyd Wickman, because I paid him big, big dollars. It was $495 in 1989 to take a 12-week class where I had to drive from Muskegon to Lansing once a week, learn a little bit, and then have him tell us, go do this week. And he didn't teach us anything about how to do it. But we had to go do it. Now, here was the primary part to it. This was the simple assignment. Go to the office at 9 a.m. and call people. Now I'm giving you the simple part to it. Call people until you set an appointment. You got to do that 3 days this week. Now you couldn't go in one day and set 3 appointments. You had to go in 3 days and set 1 appointment 3 days. By the way, if you went 1 day without setting an appointment, guess what? Now you had to go in a 4th day to set 3 appointments, 1 on 3 separate days. You know, we did it. No, they weren't really good appointments, not in the beginning. We just set appointments. Then we learned about setting the bona fide appointment. But the bottom line, what I want you to know is, we set appointments. Now we had to sit there for 3 hours, 6 hours. I remember an old friend, Howard Graves, he shared the story with me. He was calling so much that he did I was just calling to see whether they thought of selling your house and around your future hedge up. Well, and the person says, yes. Well, the reason I ask is because, so who do you know that would? Well, I appreciate you taking time to think of it. He hung up on it. He missed the yes. He'd been on the phone the entire day, over 8 hours into the evening. And the gal had said, yes, I had thought about it. And he right on by it. But he'd been on the phone for over 8 hours that day already, doing the same thing over and over and over again. Bottom line, set an appointment. We just got to decide how bad we want something. You know, by the way, why did we do those? Because Floyd said so. Because we gave him $495. And if we didn't do the assignments, you got a strike, and you only got 3 strikes. And we all know what happens on 3 strikes. You're out. And he kicked you out of the program. You'd get no more. And he kept your money. So we did it because that was a commitment that we left up to. I got 5 minutes, open questions.
So this is kind of off the wall a little bit, but my neighborhood finally joined Nextdoor. And so I've hopped on the app and I've like set up a business page and I have my personal page, but I'm kind of at a loss as to what to do with it outside of, I've already done like an introductory post, like, hey, I'm a realtor, I'm in this area, I'd love to be your trusted real estate professional. Any ideas on what I can be doing with it?
You're muted, Bob.
Okay, so other people are gonna share content. They're gonna say, what's that noise? They're going to ask for, anybody know a plumber? Anybody know this or that? And that's where you build your relationship. If you don't already have a plumber that's your go-to plumber, find one. You don't have an HVAC right now, go find one. Then you can make contributions to the people when they start to share information this way and that. If you hear something's going on in the neighborhood, you know, where, hey, we got to remember to lock our doors, or anybody seen this lost dog? Even if the dog's not lost, you know, you just share and build relationships, because that's what will tie you to the community. And when they get used to seeing you, then they begin to like you. And we all know in today's business, it's not how much you've sold. I don't care if you sold 22 million. What I care is that I like you and we have similar likes, because that's how we make friends. Use it as a CRM. Don't worry about, it's not all about business. It's all about what can I do for you?
I like that. I think I could even see you doing this. What is a good reason to go knock on doors? To go find out what the neighbors do, get to know them a little bit better so that you can become the resource. So when somebody says, hey, anybody know a plumber in the neighborhood? If the plumber doesn't see it, you're saying, yep, Joe Smith is a guy to call there. Hey, anybody know somebody that plows driveways? Because I'd like to have mine done today. Yep, you can call Joe. He's over at 4085. Where you become the resource, knowing what everybody does. So part of what you might do is just go knock on doors and say, hi, my name's Lydia. You might have seen me in next door. Are you aware of next door? The neighborhood's on next door now. Yeah, well, here's what you would do. Well, anyway, part of what I want to do is make sure I get to know everybody. Just kind of be a great resource for the neighborhood. Now, curiosity, what do you guys do? I mean, don't go right into, so I want to find out what you do. Let the information come naturally. But you can become the resource by being a part of that. I love the idea. In my case, we've got a Facebook page for my neighborhood. The only difference is my neighbor doesn't allow anybody to put anything in there for real estate. He started it. Okay. So it is what it is, but great question. But yep, become the expert, be the real estate expert, see how much you can provide without being a nuisance is the way that I would put that. Okay.
Thank you.
Any others? All right. Well, guys, been a great one. Again, see you in 2 weeks, same time, same place. Make sure that you put it into your calendar. So you got that invitation or the notice for today, you can actually download that and put it right up into your calendar. Be it Outlook, if it's Apple or Android, it all works there. Jerome, I know we didn't have you in any participation. Always great to see you, my friend. Best dressed, sharp as me and right there. So good to see you, buddy.